Hello, it's me again. So it's currently 11:01 right now, and I can't get much sleep. So I thought I'd do a episode of my vlog. Um, haven't been really thinking about much except for how much my family means to me right now. I go through a lot of nights like this where I don't necessarily do anything. I just sit in my bed and just kind of listen to some music, which I'm currently right now, but it's low enough. And I just think to myself how much my friends and how much my family just means to me. Because a lot of people don't have that. I have a set of parents that aren't divorced. I haven't been married 3 times over. I don't have stepbrothers, stepsisters. I have one brother. 3 best friends. Multiple good ones. Strangely enough, though, coming from a homeschooled background, I never really had childhood friends in this normal sense that people do, like around their same age. What I had was more adult friends kind of thing. Like, as a kid, I remember I used to go into the Discovery Center over in Reedsport. And one of the ladies there that was Checker, I kind of knew her. She was really nice to me. I remember. But the thing is with that it's more of a I had to come to work with dad kind of situation. So it wasn't they're in my age group. I get to hang out with them all the time. I don't go to school with them at all. That sort of thing. It really just made me grateful for what I have. Cause yeah, some people have high school friends, but a lot of people have childhood friends that they can look back to. My friend's dad has a friend since he knew he was 5. Known the guy for 25 years now, I think, is what he told me last. And that just amazes me to be able to know someone for that long. I never really had that kind of basis in my life. I've never known someone besides family members for more than 2/3 of my life. It just kind of makes me wonder if things were different, if I would have had different friends, if I would have a different personality or something like that. I just don't know. No one can know. Honestly, it's something you can never just at all know. It almost just brings me up to tears just thinking about my best friend, and he's developing a love for a nice lady right now that I don't think I've ever really experienced. And I wish him the best of luck. I mean, this is something that you find 1 in a million that you can't trade for anything else. Like, it would be mean of me to wish anything else but for him. Because it's truly how I feel. It hurts to know that I might not get that. And I know the optimism side of it. It's like, yeah, don't think that. Think, yeah, I'm going to get a girlfriend or a wife and be secure with that thought. Problem being, though, no one knows what's going to happen. I don't like to be the downer side of this because this is where my dad comes into play. He's not necessarily downer, but he took more to the negative side of things for good reason. The way his family treated him, that's the only thing he could see. So naturally, it's what he taught us, mainly. And with him being secure with a family already, he didn't need to teach it. I mean, I don't think any parents really teach their kids a lot of the time now, like, a proper relationship and how that is, and an example of such. I'm not saying that my parents have a perfect relationship. I'm just saying that I am a nuclear family member. I'm a part of a family that has never seen a divorce or anything dramatic like that. I know it can sound like bragging, but it also comes with some challenges because I can't actually relate to most of the people in my life. I sit back and be like, oh yeah, this is what my stepdad did for me, or this is what my mom did for me, and or my stepmom or whatever, and I'm just sitting there like, okay. And I just don't really grasp how that family dynamic works. And I'm lucky for that. Not that it's any worse, it's just, this is something I've known for 18 years now, and it's nice to have that security knowing that it's not going to go away. And like I said in my last vlog, I might be moving soon, or moving into an apartment and going into the next stage of my life here soon. I just want to remember how scary and how distressed I feel right now, so I can look back and see if that was something I should legitimately have been worried about. In a sense of, if it actually turned out, then yeah, I'm fine, I'm legitimately okay, then yeah, that's something I shouldn't have to worry about. But if it doesn't, and there's a reason for it, I can look past to it and be like, okay, this is why I jumped in too early. Here's how I can fix it. I don't get that foresight or hindsight, I guess. I'm not sure which one when it comes to my normal thought process. So that's another reason why I'm starting this. So I can just remember my past self. Again, this is going to be just something for my own personal keepsake. Maybe I'll be 80 when I look back at these. Be like, oh yeah, I did this on my first real phone. I bought with my first paycheck. When I first worked my first real job. A lot first there. And I can sit back and just because a lot of people don't get to do that. A lot of people are just stuck in this kind of state of not remembering, and it's sad because you lose yourself. And I don't want to lose myself. It's one of my bigger fears, that and being alone. I think everyone's afraid of being alone too. I don't think it's just me. I'm not that kind of person to be, oh yeah, I can just go out to Alaska, live there forever. My dad sure is, though. He could. I mean, with mom, obviously, but like. Thing is, though, I think a lot of people that are actually happy don't choose the relationship they're in. A lot of them are either guided towards it by events, or one of them starts it that actually legitimately thinks that the other is their one, and that's a lot of time what happens. Unfortunately, when people seek out just relationship immediately, it's not tend to be how it works a lot. That's why 50% of marriages lead to divorce, and that kind of thing, or partially why. Obviously, there's other reasons. It brings me back to a time where I almost hooked up with an older lady when I was before 18. I was just thought on it. I'm like, what the hell was I doing? You know, I was a young kid just working, and I thought, hey, you know, I guess it wasn't me thinking then. I don't think, you know what, no, I definitely know it wasn't me back then, but, and that's a weird statement to say, because you really change a lot over time. A lot of people, I mean, I think there's a good Vsauce video online now, that, or something like that. It's the whole ship thing, the whole ship paradox. Like, if you rebuild a ship from one piece over like 8 years or something, and you did it over that time, and you kept the old pieces that were broken, over that time, with the new ship, quote unquote, with each piece replaced, is that you, or is the old ship that you rebuilt from those old parts you? Because then you have two ships, what both technically are you, just in different time spans, or points in time, I should say. Because yes, I used to be, you know, 6-year-old kids, 8-year-old, 9-year-old kid, you know. I have a video of myself just playing with my first camera. That was like the first thing I ever did. I just took a really short video of myself just walking out into my living room, and I panned over to my grandparents that were from Idaho at the time, panned back over to my dad and mom, and they didn't see me. And I was walking into my bathroom to take a look at myself, but my brother Bryson was just coming out. He's like saying something to me, and he can barely make it out because of the quality of the microphone, but I didn't care back then. It was my first camera, so that's like revolutionary to me, you know? It's something I got that I think that was the most enjoyable experience I've had with a piece of technology in a long time. Nowadays, when I get something, I just open it, and if it works, it's cool, and then I'm back to the situation of just kind of taking advantage, like, not advantage, but taking it for granted. Like this, I wouldn't be able to talk to my friends on my PlayStation without these, or my computer, because my computer is an older one that has 2 ports for headphones and microphones separately. So I got one that can do USB, that and old analog for my phone and my controller, and it still is not as special as the pair of headphones my dad has. Now, mind you, it's a 3.5 millimeter jack, just like the one microphone I have here, but it's lasted forever, and I remember it from my childhood. So obviously that makes it the best pair of headsets, pair of headphones I've ever seen. You know, you always want stuff that you remember vaguely as a kid, like, at least I do. I remember I had my mom, from my last birthday, not my last one, but from what I remember from it, it was a cake topper, right? It was a pirate themed one, because at the time I was really into Pirates of the Caribbean. So she got me a cake that was in the theme of it, and I had a cake topper that was a cannon. Now this one had a little plastic ball that would rest in the cannon, and a little drawstring. When you pulled it, it shot the ball. Now, to me, it went super far as a kid, but now thinking past it, it never really got more than a couple feet. I didn't care though, you know. I was just having a grand old time just playing with the cannon, you know. I remember for a couple nights, or at least a week or something, what it felt like, it probably was like 2 nights, I'd shoot it off before I go to bed. It was kind of a little mini tradition, and after that, after the 7th night, I kind of neglected doing it. I had to do it every so often, and then, like, after a month, I completely stopped doing it. Not that because I don't want to, it's because it just got so normal to me that it just dropped out of my constant thought. And that's what can happen with people too. Like, if you don't spend time with them, you lose lose what you perceive them as. Because the more time goes by, the more they feel like a stranger to you. Like, you gotta spend time with them, otherwise a wall keeps being built. You know? It's like there's this person in your head that's like, oh, you know, you better hurry up with this social interaction here. Otherwise, I'm going to start building this wall here, and then you won't be able to remember them when you're older. Now, mind it, that takes forever at that point. Like, if you don't remember them, then that's been 10 plus years at least. You know, they would have had to make a significant impact for you to remember them past that. Like, you don't remember the first time you went to a store, the first time you interacted with the cashier, because of how much you do it every day and how many cashiers you see day to day. As in the sense of going out and getting groceries and that kind of thing. I don't remember that. Not that I'd want to. I mean, it's something so small in the whole life that it'd be like trying to remember your first ever experience with a bus driver, or like, well, I mean, I remember that, but that, you know what I'm getting at, though. It's nothing for both parties that affects us too much. I mean, it was a first for one person, but for the other person, it could have been the millionth customer they've served, you know. Even then, their first customer isn't even all that important to them in the grand scheme of things. I suppose you could remember it, but that's something that even I don't even see a need for, and I'm recording myself on the internet just so I can remember when I'm 80 years old in a cane, you know. But it's just something, kind of issues I care about, you know, that I want to say and maybe be heard later by myself or my friends that are either knew me or do know me now, to look back and be like, oh yeah, this is how he was how he used to be. Because I know I'm going to change even more. I'm not done changing. No one ever is. It's just how we go about that change and if it's for the right reasons. Like, after the first breakup with my first girlfriend, I took a hiatus with my dad up to Idaho. And before then, I was starting to be more rebellious. I was being just terrible to my parents and to my brother. Afterwards, I spent so much time with... now, mind you, after the whole thing, this was a big deal because, you know, I was screwing around with stuff I shouldn't have been. But I had most of my possessions taken away from me. Mind you, that wasn't much, but to me, they were everything that I owned, you know. Obviously, I had clothes and such, but I just had a Bible, a really nice recorder / playback device, if you could call it that, a pair of headphones, and a clock. Oh, and a GPS too, but I couldn't use that while I was just there. All I can remember is just getting through that for the first part, just lying in bed and not having background noise of the house or anyone, and just laying there, you know. I don't know if any of you guys or gals have been in bed alone and just stared at the ceiling until you slept, but it's not a fun experience. It's why I constantly have noise on. You know, I can't sleep without something going on, even if it's music or something, you know, a sitcom from like the 70s. I don't really care, just something. It just leaves you to your own head. And that's one thing I hate. And that's why I'm recording myself like this. That way I can make some progress of what I'm thinking about and actually hear myself. Even if I'm, like right now, I didn't do my walk today because of how crappy it was outside. I was thinking like, I could do my vlog tomorrow and it would be fine, but I don't care. Even if it's at 11:22 p.m., I'm still doing this. I want to do this. This is something I want to continue for at least a year. And if I got used to it over the year's time, I'll just keep doing it. It's just something that I have a passion for. And I want to, even for my mental health at least. I don't know if everyone needs to do this, but it's something to consider if you're feeling like you're drifting through life without really any direction. To at least see what your foothold is or what your daily thinking patterns are. Because what I'm thinking about is family or friends. And just a lot of hurt. A lot of regrets too. And I hate having regrets. I know everyone does. But having regrets is only really good to learn from them and try to do better. And if you can resolve most of them, then you're golden. But there's some things you just can't resolve. And I don't want to be a person with a lot of regrets at the end of my life. You know, I want to be able to say, hey, this is what I've done. This is the kids I've raised. This is their families and their kids. I want to be the type of guy to be, I don't have any regrets. And this is how I wanted to live my life, you know. I don't cry often anymore. And I really should. Because that's sometimes how I'm feeling and I should just let it out. Because bottling it over for 18 years isn't healthy. It's healthy for no one. Everyone should have a good cry every so often. Even if it's over little things. You stubbed your toe on a chair. And that helps you release some of the emotional hurt you've been feeling lately, then go for it. It's not... I hate the stigma that crying makes you weak. Like, it makes you seem weak. Because it doesn't. It empowers you to do better so you don't cry later. I mean, as in crying as in a legitimate pain kind of... I think it's just a mental tool we can use to help ourselves and recognize that's something that we have emotion for. And I have a hard time identifying and choosing my emotion. I mean, not necessarily choosing, but knowing what my emotions are meaning. And obviously it's like, oh, how can you not say that? I mean, but it's difficult for me to identify how I'm feeling at certain times. Honestly, truly. Because I've been in a slump of just sarcasm and just lying to myself most of the time. And it just causes me to not be able to identify what I'm feeling most of the time. And I feel bad for crying because it makes me feel like I'm faking it or something like that, but it's not. It's a real pain that I go through, everyone goes through. And it's important that you don't fake how you're feeling, at least to yourself. Because if you're faking it to yourself, then there's no honor in that. There's nothing that you can be like, I'm proud to call myself by my own name. Like, I'm proud to call myself Andrew Freshman right now because I'm truly feeling this is who I am right now. I'm not when I'm working most of the time because that's not usually me. You can ask my best friend even. He's when he first watched my first vlog, that he told me personally that I've never heard you talk like that before. And that made me realize how lucky I am to actually have him, because if he's willing to be honest with me like that, I need to be honest with him like that. And I'm sorry for not, this is personal to him, but I'm sorry I haven't lately. Honestly, and Casey too, I haven't been truthful to you guys a lot of the time. Not that I've lied to you personally on factual things, but like with my emotions and how I'm actually feeling and what I find funny. You guys are my rock. All my whole family, my friends, everybody, my everything is my rock. And I'm sorry for not emotionally being there or zoning out when I need to pay attention and just not being there for you guys. And I guess it's just how I am, but I want to change that. I want to change who I am. And this is to help me identify my problems. And so I remember this is what I want to fix. And this is something about me that I don't want to be about. I don't want to be about hiding my feelings anymore. I don't want to be about being untruthful to people. I don't want to be about, oh, I'm faking this to be with someone. No, it's not who I want to be. If you want to be with me, then I'm going to be honest with you. And if it works out, then that's how it's going to be. I'm not going to be changing myself over something that, if I were to change myself for, it wouldn't work out. Even if I truly wanted to make that change originally, oh, then that's a different case. If I honestly wanted to make that change myself, then yeah, that's a applicable change. But if it's something that you can't live without about me and you want it changed about me to be together, I don't really know who this is addressing, but I guess if they find this, then it's addressing applicable people. Then I can't do that. And if I'm in there and I'm like, oh, I wasn't meaning this, then you can point out to this video. It's like, this is what I meant, or this is what you meant, and you don't lie to me. And tell me that straight to my face, because I can't deny this video. Once it's up on YouTube, I can't deny it. It's something that I personally made and under my own volunteers. You know, it's something that can't be denied. So it's almost about 11:30, so I'm just gonna probably sign off now, I guess. See ya.